One of the scariest parts of this situation was the amount of blood that was gushing from my hands onto my bike. So I'm riding along about 20 miles from home, minding my own business. Beautiful day. This is 48 hours ago. Beautiful day. The goal was to go for a spin for a couple of hours, come back home, pack up some boxes because we're moving this week. I had a whole long list of things to do, but this was my time. This was my time to do a little exercise, get some fresh air before really kind of taking on the day. But things changed. Things changed when I'm buzzing along, about ready to actually turn around and kind of head back home. And I'm on my gravel bike, and there's a dog that's running on this opposite side of a fence, plugging along, and I can see that he's on the other side of the fence, and we're plugging along, and he's keeping pace with me, maybe a little step or two ahead of me. And I assess the situation. There's a fence there, like a wire fence. He's behind it, but he's at full tilt. I'm doing about 20 miles an hour on my bike. And lo and behold, up ahead about 10 yards, 20 yards, there's a hole in the fence. And so, right as I think I'm about past the whole situation here, the dog goes from running parallel to me, to darts out in front of me, right in front of me, just plows into my bike. I'm head over heels, tumbling on the road. Finally come to a stop, trying to figure out like what the hell just happened. And the first thing I thought, actually, the first thing I thought was, is this dog going to come up behind me and start biting my neck? Like, I mean, I'm sort of crumpled in this position on the middle of on the road. Nobody else around, but thankfully, the good news of this story of this episode is that I did not get mauled by a dog. But I do have a cast or a splint on my thumb because it did break my thumb. My back is killing me. I don't know what's going on in my back, but it's super debilitating. I've got bandages all over my body, my hands, my knees, my shoulders, and that is life. So, what we're going to talk about today is resilience and how to overcome things when life throws you a curveball or life throws you a dog into your bike and you wipe out. There are lessons to be learned, lessons that I'm trying to take pause and really kind of assess what things I can do right now to get past this as soon as possible. So the lessons that I'm going to go through today, there'll be three of them. There'll be lessons that you can apply to your life, not only if you crash your bike, and hopefully you don't do that, but lessons for general setbacks in life. My name is Aaron Shaw. I'm from HealthSpan Physio Coaching. I am almost 30 years into a career as an occupational therapist, strength and conditioning specialist, HealthSpan coach, and I work with clients who want to be as healthy and active as possible for as long as possible. And the way I coach them is through the pillars of HealthSpan, which are exercise, nutrition, sleep, emotional well-being, and preventative care. And these five pillars really help us expand the amount of time within our lifespan that we are actively engaging in life, do have the capacity to feel good, move our body as we want to, be with our family, be with our kids, be with our grandkids, explore the world, and do it in a way that is sustainable. But I can also tell you from firsthand experience, as I sit here with my broken thumb, that there are roadblocks. There are problems that pop up. There are things that are out of your control that may knock you off of your path, may knock you off of your journey of just trying to be as healthy as you possibly can be. There's a million reasons to have setbacks. There's a million barriers, from work demands to not sleeping well to having challenges with discipline or habits, with nutrition, with being sick, family obligations. There's a million reasons for setbacks, not the least of which is being physically injured, as I am today. But all of these setbacks, all of these barriers, speed bumps for our health, are opportunities to take a minute and kind of assess the situation, figure out like what tools can we have, how do we navigate these situations that set us all back. And we all have them. We all have different setbacks at different times. It's part of life. When you look at somebody and it seems like they get themselves dialed and everything is working perfect for them, to be clear, they've overcome some problems. They've had setbacks. We've all had setbacks. For all human beings. It is the way it is. So here are three lessons that I've learned, or I'm relearning, I suppose, three takeaways from my current situation that I think you can apply to any sort of setback that you have in your life. Lesson one, take a pause before you push on through. Take a pause when, in my case, I'm laying on the ground in shock, blood is gushing from everywhere. Again, I'm in shock, I'm in pain. I'm forced to stop here for a second because I'm on the ground. And it sounds pretty obvious that you would stop, but I can tell you that within a few moments, a very nice bystander who happened to live around the corner saw me, helped me into to his place, to his house, helped me kind of wash up my hands a little bit. And I'm still, kind of buzzing with adrenaline and trying to figure out, like, man, how bad is this situation? There was a part of me, he said, hey, let me give you a ride back into town. I'm 20 miles out of town. And I thought, nah, I'm okay. Let me kind of wash up my hands a little bit. Then I'm gonna get back on the bike and get back, kind of riding back. But wisely, and maybe kind of my hand was forced, I needed to take a pause. And so I took a pause. And even though that initial reaction for me is, no, I'm just going to push on through, just kind of ignore the terrible situation I'm in and figure like, I'm going to go home, get washed up. Everything will be well and good. I did take a pause. And after the second time he offered and said, are you sure you don't want me to help you get back home? I said, yeah, actually, I think I do. And so coordinated this call with my wife, who met us halfway, took me home. So the key with this was pausing to assess the situation instead of blindly pushing forward. So I think we can all probably relate to a time in our life where we're maybe starting to get a little bit sick, for example, and trying to like, I'm just going to push through the end of the week, or push through, I got a big deadline, or ignore the aches or pains that I have, not take the time to take care of myself, kind of skip the doctor's appointments for myself. And all of these things are really kind of setting ourselves up to have self-inflicted wounds, self-inflicted problems that could be prevented if we just took a pause. Setbacks at work happen, in your health happens, but life really requires us to take a pause and make our best decision as opposed to just blindly pushing forward. And some people are better than that than others. Not my strong point. I am something that I'm trying to work on, and I'm kind of, again, right now my hand is forced, so to speak. But it is best to take pause and try to make an objective decision about any sort of situation with your health than just ignoring it or just pushing on through and just pretending like nothing's actually wrong. So step one, take a pause before you push. Lesson two, I'm learning how to kind of reframe this setback. So injuries are forcing me to not train, but I can lean into recovery. I can lean into my nutrition. I can lean into sleep. I took a nap yesterday for an hour and properly fell asleep. I mean, I didn't sleep really great the day before. So right now, as I record this, I'm about just over 48 hours since my crash. And, did not sleep great the first night. And so yesterday I was super drained. And I think kind of at that point, like all the adrenaline kind of worn off, and the, bullheadedness, I suppose, is kind of worn off. And I'm just sort of realizing the gravity of the situation. And I was like, wow, this is a problem. And I'm really kind of banged up, and I'm really sore and uncomfortable. And my body is telling me to sleep. And instead of sitting here in front of the computer trying to push forward with a bunch of work things I want to do, I had to reframe the situation and say, I need to sleep. So I really looked at this as a redirection as opposed to a dead end. So I just had to kind of like, okay, let me do a little pivot here to do what is best that my future self will appreciate, and not do something stupid where I want to look back in a few days and say, I should have just taken advantage of those couple of days and just rested, just totally shut things down. So the second lesson is to reframe things. And I have to admit, just to back up a little bit here, on Sunday, the day that I crashed, I came home. My wife ever so graciously helped me get cleaned up, bandaged me up, and said, we could go to the emergency room. And me being, again, the way I kind of default in the caveman knucklehead category, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. Just kind of get bandaged up. There's nothing you can do about it. Even though I knew my left thumb was like not great. And of course, I'm covered in blood everywhere and wounds everywhere. And I pushed through Sunday, and then Sunday night, I wanted to do one more bandage change before going to bed. And so this is 8:30 at night. I'm super tired. And we take off the bandages that are all kind of soupy wet at this point to change them before I go into bed. And I looked at my hands, and then it dawned on me how bad the situation kind of was, or how bad the situation could be. And I looked at my thumb, and I realized that, reinforcing that, yeah, my thumb is, even though I had like a makeshift splint on it, my thumb is not just sprained. There's something else going on there. So I'm exhibit A in trying to practice what I preach. And I'll also, in full transparency, share with you that I suck at it sometimes. It is, and as my people around me will often say, like, what would you tell somebody else in this situation? What would you tell one of your coaching clients in this situation? And the reality is, if this particular situation happened to any of my coaching clients, I would say aggressive recovery. Shut things down. I don't give a shit what you have going on. You sleep, you eat well, you hydrate well, you sleep, and you keep doing that. You see a medical professional as you need to, because they're going to give you maybe some tips on even like further speeding up the recovery, and at the very least, making sure there's not something even more serious going on that you didn't know about. So there's my confession. I'm getting better at it. I'm trying. I did end up going to the ER Sunday night, and that's when I found out that, yes, my thumb is broken and got some wound care stuff taken care of, but it is lessons to still be learned, even for yours truly. These setbacks are never convenient. They always suck, never at the right time. But I think if we can work on taking a pause and then reframing the situation, controlling what we can control, we're going to get through it quicker. The third lesson that I learned or relearned perhaps, is to focus on adapting, but not quitting. So this recovery, as with all speed bumps that we go over, this recovery it's a proactive process. It's not a sit and wait. We're not just going to sit down, stare at the wall, and hope this thing kind of magically gets better. It is a process that I'm going to actively engage in. So that means focusing on being persistent with the things that can control. It's not perfect. Again, to go back to my sleep is not perfect, but I'm trying. And my nutrition, pretty good. Could I fine tune it even more? Yeah, maybe. So I should keep looking at that. Should I hydrate more? Yeah, maybe I should do that. But adapting is the name of the game. Athletes have to adapt training plans all the time because of circumstances and certainly how their body is responding to whatever the training load is. Those of us mere mortals, non-professional athletes, we need to adapt our life plans because of things that happen, because of life demands, because of family demands, because of work, because of projects you got to get through, weather changes, travel demands, whatever it is. We need to adapt, but not quit. So I am still on the HealthSpan train, if you will. I'm still focusing on these 5 pillars of HealthSpan, even though if you were to look at me and certainly watch the whole bandage change circus that happens once or twice a day, you would say HealthSpan is not exactly the first thing that comes to mind when you see how banged up I am, but it is precisely what I'm doing. It is precisely what I'm doing, trying to adapt and overcome to get through this so I can get on with life, so I can get on to extending my health span. And part of that is not stopping the habits that I've worked on, but definitely adapting them. This is kind of the way it goes. That's the only thing I can do. So if life knocks you down, whether it's your health, your work, or just a chaotic life, whatever's going on in your life, don't quit. You can take a pause. You can reframe the situation. You can adapt. And of course, it's always controlling the things you can control and not just throwing in the towel. Not just throwing in the towel. Absolutely do not quit. There's always something you can do to be a little bit healthier, to take care of yourself a little bit more. And your family would love it if you would do that. And this is how you build resistance. This is how you build durability. And sometimes, as I'm doing now, I have to kind of tap into the bank of resilience, my bank of durability that I've been working on for most of my life, and tap into that and say, okay, I need to kind of take a loan out a little bit to make sure that I can execute on the things that I can control so I can get through this as fast as possible. And this is how you extend your health span. So if you have ever been injured, you totally understand what it's like to be knocked down when you can't do the things you want to do. If you have any tips, by all means, message me. I would love to know how you navigate your situation, whether it's a sickness or whether it's an injury, or even whether it's just real life obstacles. If you're trying to be healthier, it's like, damn, I just cannot eat the way I want. I can't exercise the way I want. I can't take care of myself the way I want. I've got these barriers. If you don't know how to overcome them, let me know. Communicate those with me. If you want a quick and easy roadmap, like a no-brainer roadmap, you can go to my website, healthspanpillars.com. That's linked in the show notes here. I have free programs that kind of get you started, just to kind of set you up with some structure to start following. If you want more information than that, if you want a custom brainstorming session with me, by all means, hit me up. That's what I do full time. I love to kind of talk you through these things. I can't say I can demonstrate all sorts of exercises at the moment because I'm a little bit bandaged up, but I'm happy to put together a program that's precisely exactly for you. So we're all in this together. We all get banged up. We all have setbacks. Stopping is not an option. Aggressive recovery, that's the name of the game. So thank you for listening. As always, I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on socials, and send me any messages or any questions you may have, especially if you have any ideas on future shows. All right. Thanks for your time.